Please Allah, a chance to gain reward I will spend on you, he says, all who spend in good cause. Good deeds are opportunities, sparkling bright and true, raising you in the sight of Allah and adorning Al-Jannah for you. So rush to earn his reward. Don't forget the oppressed. And when you go to sleep at night.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of A Time to Please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, it's always a time to please Allah, not just this hour, but this especially. I mean, it's a nice. I love the title. I don't know. I think it's a beautiful title because we did get a question. Isn't it always a time to please Allah? Remember the question that we had on Facebook? So it's always a time to please Allah. Don't worry. But this is the show, the 1 hour that we do our thing and we try to speak to you, the audience, to reach out to you, to be able to communicate to you things that concern you, the Muslim audience, just the general Muslims, to speak to in a normal language. Everyone can understand, everyone can feel what we're talking about, everyone can relate to what we're talking about, everyone can connect to what we're talking about. And of course, we inspire a lot of our talks and our topics from you, from your comments, from your calls. The emails, we get a lot of nice emails, and I wanted to really thank the audience for the inspiring words that they send us.
And it's mashallah. I mean, talking about the emails, you just reminded me. We got an email from a sister who I don't even know how to pronounce it. Curacao, maybe, I don't know. It's one of those small Caribbean islands, and she was saying how she was she's of an Arab origin, but she spent nearly most of her life growing up in this Caribbean island. And she was saying that she wasn't practicing, and then she started becoming practicing, and she said how much Huda TV, not specifically our show, but our show and in general, how she's really benefited from Huda TV. So it's it really shows you the importance of these kind of channels, because it's not just people in the standard places that we think of, like the West or Nigeria. Even the smallest, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Muslims in Alaska or Kathmandu maybe watching Huda TV.
Kathmandu.
Seriously, why not?
Where's Kathmandu?
Kathmandu is a Nepal, my friend.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
They're like Timbuktu, Kathmandu. It says, as you grew up in the UK, they always say, where'd you get that from? Or where did you just come from? Kathmandu, because it's one of those strange...
Like Honolulu.
It's one of those kind of strange sounding places that, are like in the middle of nowhere.
Growing up, we used to say, where are you from? I'm from Honolulu?
Yeah, something like this. So you just say, Kathmandu.
It's amazing. I mean, she said that she even put hijab on after some of these shows that she was following up with, and so she was inspired.
We had a very nice one from a brother called Amin in rural Ethiopia. He was saying that he became a Muslim, and he was saying as well at the same time, mashallah, he's benefited from Huda, but he was saying, unfortunately, that a lot of the Muslim, and especially the Muslim girls, they're not really getting good education, and some of them are marrying outside of Islam and leaving Islam. And
there's a lot of missionaries attacking and doing a lot of work, and he's trying to. He was quite concerned about that, and he was saying, "What can we do?" So that was pretty cool, and a lot of emails, mashallah, and a lot of follow up with the issue of the ta'weed video that we did. There's a lot of people who. Even recently I received a call actually related to that based on the show. Subhanallah. So, mashallah, so alhamdulillah, we want to thank everyone. Again, if you want to link with us, you can see Ismail's page on Facebook, my page on Facebook, The Time to Please Allah page on Facebook. And you can give us a call at the number that you see on the screen. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I mean, we'd like, for those who haven't liked the A Time to Please Allah page, please like it. Please post it on your Facebook page, and and send it to your friends. Or you all know, as you go to Time to Please Allah page, you see on the right hand side, invite friends. You can click on see all, and you can in a couple.
It's very clicks. Yeah.
You can just click all your friends. Even if it's a couple of hundred, it won't take you that long.
Or just share the page.
And you can, but it's if you can invite them. If they get that invite message, a lot of time they'll accept it, so we can spread more awareness of the show for those who may not be aware. Not everybody necessarily watches Huda TV all the time, or you could be, you could get the reward of someone tuning into Huda, not for our show only, but for Huda TV in general.
Yeah. And speaking of Facebook and getting the blessing, I mean, people spend a lot of time, and we also, I find myself spending a lot of time on social media, and a lot of our work is on social media these days, right? And alhamdulillah, I mean, there's pros and cons to that. I'm not saying that it's all good, but it does make sometimes dawah quite easier, right? And you're able to reach people that you would never be able to reach otherwise. And alhamdulillah, there's a lot of good feedback. But again, subhanAllah, if you just share, click, you can get share a lot of the reward that people are doing. A lot of people, subhanAllah, I was watching today, some sites are just ridiculous, man, and people are really campaigning for them and wasting their time on these ridiculous sites, attacking Islam. So obviously we as Muslims should really fulfill this awareness and spread it more and be able to benefit a lot more from this, alhamdulillah. So today's episode is, I'm excited. It's a really cool show, and kind of like following up with what you guys did last week. And I was not here last week, but I tried to call you guys in, and I was there for about 5 to 7 minutes on the show live. But you guys were talking about music, and specifically based on the book Music Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
Right. And Ibn Abbas was here, mashallah. I think it was a very insightful show, and he's got good grasp of that book and the content of that book. But again, going back to the issue of music, and subhanAllah, if people don't understand how powerful music is, right? They don't understand, and especially Muslims these days, they sometimes just brush it off and they say, it's a difference of opinion, it's a difference of opinion. I always tell the people, I'm like, listen, there is no difference of opinion whatsoever that rock and roll and rap and all these garbage that you hear today is haram, with all the content. And there's no difference of opinion whatsoever.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even though it's a very weak opinion, but even that opinion, that is allowed. I mean, you may, if you follow such a weak opinion, which is a very, very, very minority, and we're talking about maybe a handful of scholars out of the hundreds of classical scholars, including the 4 Imams.
Yes.
But if someone was to, follow that opinion, I mean, what could you even compare? I mean, they were possibly, talking about the music of their time, which was probably like a Bedouin guitar or something. I mean,
poetry,
like I said, it's not like, twerking this and twerking that. And,
right. And that's
all that kind of, whatever it is. I mean, everything is about, every song is about, it's not about marriage.
No, it's about sex, drugs, alcohol, rock and roll, suicide, about, YOLO, and all kinds of weird things.
I kissed a girl and I liked it nonsense. Which is
like
going out to little teenagers or like 10-year-olds, girls are going around singing a song sung by a woman who's saying, I kissed a girl and I like it. And the little kids are walking around, I kissed a girl and I like it and all this.
But what I wanted to say is that a lot of people, when, let's put aside, the fiqh and everything, as we said, right? There's no difference of opinion whatsoever. This is haram, but speaking myself, and our guests will be able to, mashallah, be able to elaborate more on this, but I come from a music background as well. I played the saxophone, I played the guitar for about a good 4 years. I sang in a choir. It's always about music. If you ask any of my friends in high school, they'll be like, this guy always sings, like he always sings. And to be honest, I still feel the flashbacks sometimes, come back. Like it's very hard to get rid of it.
True. I mean, I could probably, unfortunately, and I think this is for everybody, I could probably sing so many songs that I knew when I was 12 and 13, and as I just became Muslim, I could probably sing.
And not just that, a lot of people can do that, and they can probably sing more songs than surahs from the Quran. And that's
and sometimes
the
what's really subhanAllah, it shows you how much it sticks in your mind. Sometimes you could be driving and you find yourself out of the blue and you're like, where'd that come from, I haven't even heard that song or sung that song for 7 years, and then it pops up and all of a sudden you sing it.
It's a very good point. Why? There's something in psychology where you basically you've assimilated a memory of something. So you've had a memory of something that was associated with that song, And when you drive by something or something happens in your life currently that is very closely related to that incident, your brain will kick in that song that it was associated with. Subhanallah. So a lot of times, for example, and that goes not just the song, that goes also with the situation. When you hear the song, it will trigger that situation, okay, by association. This is also learning through association. But this is not done voluntarily. For example, if you go to Carrefour or something, a store, right, and you hear a song, you remind yourself of something, some event that is associated with that song. When you listen to that song, what happened, or what do you remember? Your clearest memories of what happened, when you were listening to that song.
Talking about psychology, you reminded me of something, which is the Islamic Online University have actually, they've always been known to do the online Islamic degree for almost free, very minimal charge per semester of like maybe $100 or something every 3 months, so it's pretty much free. They've now added to their list certificates, diplomas and bachelors in education, and certificate, diploma and bachelors in psychology from the Islamic perspective.
Nice, that's very
So that just reminded me, I thought I'd let the viewers know, because that's something which is very lacking.
Yeah.
People who are qualified, even a certificate in psychology can be very beneficial as a counsellor for people.
Right.
And I'm actually really considering doing it myself now. Now I have that gap between, before I commence, inshallah, for my Masters in Islamic Studies, I'm thinking of using those few months to do that certificate, because it's something we really lack, right? Either we have people who don't know anything about that, or we have people who have learned psychology completely from the non-Islamic, and they're not practicing either. So, and they will tell you things like, oh, religion's the problem. That's why you're having these issues, because you're too religious.
Right.
Don't even, so they will come from the opposite, the kind of Freud kind of freaky kind of stuff. We don't want to go into some of Freud's.
You really don't.
You really don't want to, because people will be like, was that said by an intellectual science? He really said,
yes,
going to the toilet is something exciting, and all kinds of weird stuff. And we don't even want to. It's worse than that,
Right.
But all kind of horrible incestual kind of suggestions, and so this is, mashallah, something we need. We need the positive psychology. And I did actually, in my degree, even though it was Islamic studies, we did a module on psychology, and it was very beneficial. How the brain works, how people's emotions can change, how people's attitudes can change, how music can affect it, how drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be.
It's something beautiful, because let me connect. There's Goldziher is a very famous Orientalist, and he relating to an issue that took place at the time of Prophet ﷺ, where there was a hit on some of the poets, which basically were campaigning against the Muslims and insulting the Muslims, insulting Allah, His Messenger, insulting the Muslim women, and so on, right? And a lot of people would have, they had issues. Oh my God, how can this happen? And why would the Muslims attack the poets, and so on, But Goldziher says, in defense of this, so he's not a Muslim, he says that a poet would be worth like 1,000 soldiers, because of the ability that he had to motivate and to move the people with his words, right? So no doubt people know when you're you're given a speech, right? It can move you. It can really move you. The tone of the person, the gesticulations, everything, the body language, everything can really inspire someone. Now, if you add to that music, background music, instrumental music, that actually amplifies the effect, right? No one can deny it. No one. And it is, believe it or not, it is in our fitrah to feel, these speeches, this music, and so on. Now people might say, well, if it's in our fitrah, isn't it something good? It's not, because, for example, sex is in our fitrah, right? That doesn't mean you go and do it this way or that way.
Yeah,
so there's many things.
There's a right way to do it. I mean, we know that the Prophet ﷺ himself says, "Man lam yataghanna bil Quran falaysa minna." Whoever does not sing in a melodious way, the Quran is not from us. Meaning, this is the way of the Muslims, to beautify. Yes. So, there is that, where we want to hear a beautiful thing like that. That's why,
it's in our,
but it's within a limit. It's not like listening, like you said, to hardcore bass beats talking about this and that and this.
But subhanAllah, if you look at children and you play a song, you'll find children start moving, if you hear a song, they don't know how to dance, but they start like shaking their body and so on. right? So this is something, subhanAllah, that has such great influence that even on these children, they'll start acting. Now, we see, subhanAllah, and most people have seen, for example, a concert of a very famous, rapper or artist, right? People fainting and jumping and dancing. They can't even control themselves, right? Because what happens is these words, these suggestions, these beats, right, really stimulate the body. It stimulates the brain, stimulates a release of hormones that actually give, adrenaline to the body and make the body react in such a way that they feel this euphoric, a feeling, and they just start moving, and they can't even control themselves, right? It's like they're drunk, and that's what it is. It's a stage of pretty much drunkenness. And they'll even start doing things that they basically lose part of the rationale, and they start doing things that they cannot control sometimes, right? And that's why you feel that they're not even under the influence of alcohol, but they're acting like it. So music has such strong powers, a lot of people don't understand. And that's why it is something that, but I'm not trying to make here any qiyas or to say that there's an illah in this case, or some kind of cause between, but people need to think about it, because it is quite intoxicating, if I can say that. It is quite an intoxicating thing. So on a different level, I'm not saying that is the hukum, but it is quite intoxicating. So that's why people, you can understand why the scholars who said that it is haram, what their ruling was, based upon. Of course, the hadith and the nusus are very clear, and there's a lot of proof, that music is haram. But if we put that aside, just an observation, just a basic observation of how someone behaves under the influence of music and what music drives people to do. This is, I would say, subhanAllah, enough for people to understand that,
And we had last week when we were talking about it, we mentioned that in the book there are professors from, universities like Stanford and Oxford, they're well-known universities, who aren't Muslim, and they were clearly saying that listen to music can really affect not just one person. Oh, this person's a weirdo, he's an odd. Generally, people. I was even saying, at school, it sounds silly, but when we wanted to have a fight with somebody, you'd find people listening to hardcore rap, because it's talking about violence, so you're pumping yourself up,
That's weird.
You want to hook up with a girl, you listen to a bit of Boyz II Men, a bit of Jodeci, something like that, So you're playing the love tunes, right? You get in the mood.
That's very, because back in the days when I used to train before a competition, I used to listen to like Exhibit, like really hardcore,
Even that. We all know that it's famous. If you feel like doing a boxing workout, you want to listen to the Eye of the Tiger, from the Rocky movie.
Yes.
Seriously, and as soon as that comes on, you're like
really
jabbing
ready to pump, yes.
because it's reality. So,
yes.
And they were saying that the music pushes the people to do things. Like. People, if you listen to some crazy stuff like Marilyn Manson or something, after a while, if you listen to that regularly, you're going to get these devil-worshipping thoughts, these shaitanic, these, I don't know what you call it, sadistic,
yes.
masochistic, whatever it may be, kind of thoughts, and you may end up going and killing a cat. Those crazy things that some people do because they listen to this thing was talking about. It's not even singing, if I can recall correctly. Not alhamdulillah, I ever listened to Marilyn Manson, but that kind of, it sounds like a horror movie, basically. Right. A musical horror movie of screaming and
we know also there's a lot of controversy, for example, when it came down to the song Stairway to Heaven, right? And when it was played back or whatever, you can actually find this on the internet. I believe the group was called Stairway to Heaven. Do you remember?
The Eagles?
I think the Eagles, yes, the Eagles, Stairway to Heaven. And it was basically talking about, this worship Satan. So actually you can find, if you do some research on the internet, you'll find that. And it was not the Muslims who came up with this, conspiracy theory or anything like that, but it was actually Christians and non-Muslims who had an issue with this. And there was an issue with the Catholic Church that, launched against that. Also Hotel California. Right, that was, I believe, that's Hotel California was.
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Yeah. And that was the Satanic Church.
Such a lovely place.
Right, such a lovely place. It was Hotel California was a Satanic Church. Right. So there's a lot of things that people have understood the power of music, and we're able to infiltrate, what's called subliminal messages, or even, certain messages here and there to drive people towards a certain direction. Anyway, I think if you do a little bit of research, you won't need to go too far to find a lot of information. Again, we recommend you the book, The Music Made Me Do It. And you can find that, I believe, you can buy it online. I'm not sure if there's...
you find it in most Dar es Salaam and these
Salam.
places. It's published by IIPH, International Islamic Publishing House in Saudi, but I'm sure it's available, yes, definitely.
Okay,
inshallah.
so we are going for a break right now. Don't forget to give us a call. The number's on the screen. And come back, you don't want to miss this. We got our guest, and inshallah it's a very exciting show, and don't miss it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, He says.
We can't just take knowledge and keep it as information. We have to transfer it into action. When he got up, he said one thing. Asalla nas? Did the people pray? In Hajj, for example, the primary example of how multiculturalism really looks like. All equal. I've got a dentist in Canada. Even though he's ripping holes in my teeth, he's got great akhlaq. I love visiting him. Identify the issue. Analyze it. Challenge it. And then try again. Because if you fail, big deal. Try again and keep trying.
If I think I lost my ablution, but I'm not sure, do I have to make wudu again? Is it allowed for Muslims to visit the graveyard, or is that shirk? Am I allowed to say Jummah Mubarak to someone? Can I get to know a sister before marriage? I have so many questions, and I feel that I've just reached a dead end. If only I could find someone trustworthy to answer my questions. Someone who speaks based on proof from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you.
Yes.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sorry, just a little bit of a technical issue there. Not a problem. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Welcome back. And we are talking about music. I just want to remind you everything before we bring and we introduce the guest that you can actually give us a call. The topic is music. So we want you to share your opinions on this, to share your views, to share your experiences. What experience do you have with music? Maybe you're a musician, maybe you left it. I know a very good friend of mine, Napoleon, that a lot of you might know, who was with the Outlaws. He was singing with Tupac, and a lot of people might know him, who left the scene obviously, and he is, mashallah, doing a lot of work and actually moving on and inspiring youth to leave the ghetto, thuggish music industry that people are into and to turn to Islam, to practicing and to commit their lives to something more constructive. Then we have Brother Loon, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala free him, who also was rolling with Puff Daddy and the Bad Boys and so on. And he was, subhanAllah, I mean, it was a shocking thing when he left the music industry and decided to become Muslim. If you see it right now and you compare before and after, you would never actually you would never actually be able to say that, wow, this guy actually made this change. So let us go, inshallah, and introduce our guest for today. And we have with us today Brother Julian. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for accepting me here and inviting me for your show. I'm very happy to be here and share what I experienced from music. And
okay, I think sorry, I think there's a technical issue. I think we cannot hear you.
Okay.
Let's see if we can fix. Okay, so let's continue. I guess we will be able to fix this, inshallah, no problem. Shaitan's trying to get in. Subhanallah. No problem. Anyway, yeah, we'll go for a little break just to fix this. Inshallah, we'll be back. We wait for your calls and your comments.
A chance to gain reward I will spend on you, he says.
يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر.
We try to recap what we do here at Huda TV for the past week, and we try to share with you some of the latest news that is happening behind the scenes here at the station.
Living Islam would love a cooking show to be aired for Arabic dishes. Also more programs for children regarding manners.
We want to go ahead and take a look at our YouTube page right now and see how it looks as it stands. Well, I'm on the screen right now, but I'm not on TV. I'm actually through YouTube, as you can see right there. It's the same exact thing that you see on TV here live. It's exactly the same thing that is on our YouTube page through our live streaming. A great way to stay in touch with us.
My first time to call Huda TV, but I like it too much.
Because there is no program in Huda TV that it is not important for our Muslims, inshallah.
Time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward I will spend on you, he says.
طيب, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We're back, Alhamdulillah, and remind you the lines are open. We have some little technical difficulties, but Alhamdulillah, this is what happens, and the believers, inshallah, they keep working with whatever they have. Inshallah, hopefully this thing gets solved, but because we really want to hear from our guest today. But anyway, let's go back to the issue of music.
Actually, I got a comment on the page.
Okay.
From Brother Hini Andulsi, I think from Tunisia, and he says today's show is about music. I used to be addicted to it. Alhamdulillah, things changed. Now my head hurts as soon as I hear any kind of hard music. So mashallah, he's was one of those people who were addicted to it, and mashallah, he's moved on.
It can actually, it can become an addiction. I want to go back to something, because this is, I think, very important. The Muslims are confused over this, and I saw something very quite shocking today. Quite shocking. And I'm always a person who says that it's better to abstain, from saying something, especially when something is not clear. And as the Prophet said, if you don't have anything good to say, keep quiet. It's better. And basically, why are the Muslims still so attached to music? This is something that is very important. Why are people still confused over the permissibility, or of this? And it is because we have some people who are sustaining and they're basically giving the people this, they're feeding them and saying that it's okay, don't worry, it's fine. But what shocked me is that some people of knowledge, supposedly, saying that it's okay, for example, to rap, or it's okay to certain music like Mary J. Blige, or whatever his name is, Blige, or so on, that this is fine, this is something that is amazing. Or
I would love to hear calling the adhan, I think was the actual wording.
Okay, so this is, I would say, is a bit extreme, and you basically, people are being, they're saying, well, if someone like that says that, well, hey man, I can follow that, right?
Actually, there's a message here which is actually good about the show, but also good for our technical team, because this is Assalamu alaikum, this is a viewer. Actually, we could hear Bro Julian, so apparently the viewers are saying they could hear Brother Julian, so hopefully our team will look into that. Maybe they can't hear, but the viewers can.
Thank you, brother.
And he says, we hear some Muslims saying that music gives them peace of mind, but the Quran doesn't give them peace of mind. So he's obviously, he said, isn't that strange? That some Muslims are saying, I get peace of mind from the Quran, but from music, but not from the Quran.
Just to comment on that, I've saw also recently a post by someone, which is endorsed by some of these brothers, who are, I don't know, you can call them scholars, I'm not sure, but anyway, du'at, and he said that, you don't know what you're talking about. He's like, one song can take me to highs more than any prayer, something like that, And this is a Muslim, and he's giving da'wah pretty much.
And this is a da'i?
No, someone who's endorsed pretty much by da'is, or sometimes. So right?
Must be some. If he's endorsed, he must be a da'i, a lecturer, someone of.
Not necessarily. It's someone who is like a blogger, you might say, or something like that, right? So I was like, come on, man. Like people actually claiming that, as you said, that this spiritually absolutely lifts them. And they're saying basically, you see now, like there's a mix of the culture, of the whole hip-hop culture with rap and Islam, that it's like something cool now. You got like, the brothers, they're wearing like the tasbih, around their neck, right? Kind of like, the Christians, they wear the cross with the rosary, and they have the cross, and they're like, but they're wearing tasbih, and they got like, these glasses, like the bandana style, and they're like, like the songs like, yo, Muhammad, Allah, like this, yeah? And they're like, like jumping up and down, and then next to them, some sisters are like, up and down, and you're like, what is that, man? And then, honestly, and then you got people like rappers who are very popular, supposed Muslims, calling the adhan on stage, right? And saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and their pants are falling off, like they're halfway almost. And there's...
you have, forget even the rapping, you have so-called nasheed artists who play the piano, and are saying, Ar-Rahman, Al-Jabbar, the names of Allah as he plays the piano, SubhanAllah. Very
SubhanAllah. So
may Allah guide them.
I think, but the issue is that we're not here trying to just hit these, but what we're trying to say is that the people are confused because these people are quite popular, and they're basically excusing the lame folks who are following them, and they don't understand that, man, if you are doing something or you're following an opinion, This is, man, do whatever, it's up to you, between you and Allah, what you do on your own terms. But because you're coming open about it, and you're telling someone, going in the middle of the park, and telling someone that, hey man, don't worry about what people say, you continue doing what you're doing,
Keep it up.
Stuff like that, keep it up. Now, people, that spreads like fire, and people are going to be inspired because, hey, here's someone who has, a degree, a certificate. He's someone supposedly, qualified and was studied traditionally, saying that. So, hey, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So someone on the Day of Judgment is going to come with that and say, well, he said it. I don't know, I'm not a scholar, but he is, and he told me it's okay. And not one, but so many. What you do it's your issue, between Allah. But when you start becoming public about it and preaching about it and people following it and going on it, then that becomes an issue now. Because that will come back to you on the Day of Judgment.
We've had a couple of other comments. Again, Brother Muhammad Nawfal, he said he heard a brilliant talk by Kamal al-Mekki. We're talking about this particular lecture called The End of Music. I've actually heard that myself, and as he put it, it's a real eye-opener. And he brings it from the evidences of the Quran and the Sunnah, as well as the general scholars, what they used to call the music. They used to call it the flute of shaitan, the Quran of shaitan, the killer of taqwa. The killer of taqwa, so many different things is what they would call this, so it's a very good lecture for those, and it's a kind of lecture that if you listen to, inshallah, with sincerity, you really will come to the conclusion, not just from the evidences, but just from general statements of the scholars, without even going into the verses of Quran and the Hadith, that the issue behind music. And from Sister Selma Shahabuddin, she says the Quran becomes a burden due to the diseases of our heart. So that definitely has, as the sister said, the less we practice Islam, the more our iman is low. Of course, the Quran won't have an effect, won't have much of an effect on us. If we're not reading Quran, and we go and read it once a week, or once a month, or once a year in Ramadan, and we say, oh, I don't get much peace, but every day I play, a bit of Mariah Carey or something.
I feel
or a bit of Julian Drolon or something. I feel so relaxed,
And subhanallah, imagine what's being said, that Quran is not giving you a peace of mind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. That indeed, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts will find tranquility. Now, if your heart finds tranquility in music, right, and not just that, it gets stressed by the Quran, or it rejects the Quran. Now, that is an issue. That is an issue of the heart, right? And it's rejecting the taqwa, it's rejecting the light, because it's covered. Right, and that's a big problem, right? That's a huge problem. If someone cannot find peace in the Quran, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that indeed in the Quran there's peace, then definitely there's an issue, and people need to go back. And I can tell you, personally, through introspection, honestly, the way I feel sometimes about music when I hear it, if I'm in a shopping store somewhere, and it reminds me something that plays from the old days, man, you just feel like your whole, everything changes, subhanAllah. And because, alhamdulillah, I know what the issues are related to music, I feel very uneasy about it, even though my nafs is telling me, oh man, yeah, remember this song, oh yeah, this is so good. But my aql, my mind and my understanding, my knowledge is telling me that, it's not right, this is not, the way to move forward. And this is one thing that I told you in a previous show, that the missionaries use this tool to divert the Muslims from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to actually, in North Africa, in a lot of the Muslim countries, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, the Christian missionaries use music to give da'wah, to attract the youth, to bring them to dancing, girls, boys, mixing. I've seen it firsthand when I was in Africa, as I told you, before Maghrib, after Asr, people meeting at the park, the missionaries bring them together, churches play music, sing, dance, and so on. And I remember an incident from the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, that one of the things that Quraysh used to do when the Prophet ﷺ would walk reciting sometimes the verses, the ayats of the Quran, that they would hire singers to go behind them and sing, or to make noise, or to try to divert the people from this. So, subhanAllah, I'm pretty sure that the missionaries don't know about this
I
incident.
mean, there was even the ayah was revealed. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلُّ عَن سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. You know, and from those people who purchase idle talk, and people like Ibn Abbas and many of the Sahaba, they said that this idle talk is specifically music.
Yes, Ibn Abbas.
Some say it's music and it's general bad speech, because some of them would also come, and Prophet ﷺ was giving dawah, they would hire them also to go and recite poetry, or just to generally make a, as we say, a ruckus, you know, loud noise to disturb the people from listening to the Prophet ﷺ. But the strongest opinion is that it's generally, specifically music. And the rest of the ayah says, idle talk to take the people away from
Sabilillah. When we analyze the culture shift, we find that most of the culture is imported, and the issues that deal with that go against Islam are imported through music, right? You go to, subhanallah, China, you go to any Arab country, you go to a lot of places, right? And people are taking the culture from the Hollywood culture, the pop culture, from
Okay. What I thought we'll do, inshallah, we should be getting sometime soon on air, brother Julian. But I was just reading another one of the comments, and the sister was saying, that people don't realize the greatness of Allah and the greatness of the Quran. For them to, if they really did, they wouldn't want to, listen to anything other than the Quran. And subhanallah, when you listen to the Quran, especially if you understand the Arabic, it's very, very powerful. It's very, very moving and very powerful. And while we're waiting to get this issue sorted out with Brother Julian, I thought it might be, I don't know if the camera can zoom in, but this apparently, no, it can't. But anyway, this is basically what I'm holding in my hand is the album that was released a few months before Brother Julian became Muslim, mashallah. So hopefully we'll be having him, even though he's sitting here with us, of course, but hopefully we'll be having him on the screen with sound. We hope, inshallah, sometime soon. That's what we hope. What do you think? Inshallah.
Okay, I want to continue what I was saying with the culture shift and with music. And mashallah, you find that like people like Brother Julian, Napoleon, other people who have left this trend. But people, Muslims are going towards it. And I have a lot of students, for example, who are so much into music. And I see now that they're actually losing their culture. And they don't know some things. Like I know some things about their own culture, and they don't know some of these things. Like they lost it. But they know, for example, when Eminem was born, or what's his last album, and so on, and other things, right? So which is so weird. I'm telling you, you don't know your culture.
I like M&Ms, but I prefer the chocolate ones. I don't like the peanuts.
Okay. That's right. So people are this culture is being imported through movies, through music, and so on. So people don't understand. They have no defense against it, right? And even worse, when a lot of people don't understand fully what's being said in the song, right? But that doesn't mean their brain does not record the words and the messages. People understand the power of the brain. It's very, very powerful. But for example, sometimes I go to a store or a restaurant with my family, and they're playing some very wicked music, right? And I tell them, like,
wicked as in evil, or wicked as in wicked?
Wicked as in evil.
Okay.
Yeah. So I tell them, like, excuse me, do you even understand what this music is saying? And they're like, no, sir, but it sounds nice.
I remember one time I went into a store, and they were playing the same chocolate sweets that we were talking about, and swearing and stuff like that, the F word and all kinds of stuff. And I went and it was a clothes shop that half the shop is kids' clothes. I said, what are you playing? Even in the UK they wouldn't play this.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. I was saying, like, listen, man, like in America, in Canada, in UK, they would not play this. You guys are playing, like bad words, swear, everything is swear, promiscuity, sex, this, that, alcohol. And I'm like, do you guys even understand? They're like, no, sir. I'm like, why are you playing? There's children here. Okay, so alhamdulillah, let us move now on to introducing our guest, alhamdulillah, by the blessing of Allah. Technical difficulties are fixed, and I would like to introduce Brother Julian Abdul Wali.
Abdul Wali.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
My
barakatuh.
brothers in Islam, I'm so happy to be with you today. The topic is very interesting, and inshallah I can put some input on my own experience as a singer.
Can you please introduce yourself to the audience? I'm sure like the Asian audience might have might know him a lot better than the Western European audience. But can you please introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Julian Doron Abdul Wali now. I've been Muslim for the past 2 years. I became Muslim in the Philippines after Ramadan 2012, and then I migrated to Malaysia, where I live now. And mashallah, I'm now working on my own project, writing a book about Islam, my experience, doing Islamic documentaries, and I'm also helping Mercy Mission with a non-profit organization in Malaysia.
That reminds me, Brother Gabriel, this is for the viewers as well, because anytime you buy this book, the proceeds go towards Dawah and the ICRA, ICRAA.org, which we're involved in. Specifically, Brother Gabriel is the co-founder, which answers refutations that are put by missionaries, Orientalists, atheists against Islam. And he has a book called Journal of a New Muslim,
Yes,
which
mashallah.
I recommend everyone can read. So you can contact Brother Gabriel Al-Romaani at his Facebook page, and you can order
you can
a
order
copy
a
of
PDF.
it.
Yeah, you can.
You
just
can order a PDF or
PDF, yeah.
hard, whatever you like. So I just thought I'd mention that because you're writing a
Fantastic.
book. He's already written a book.
Yeah, I might need to have a look at your book, mashallah, before finishing mine. No, it's an important thing, when you enter Islam, if you can contribute and share your experience. And in terms of music, I've been through this. You were mentioning about the missionaries. Before entering Islam, I was in the Philippines. As you know, 90% of Filipinos are Christian. And I went, I think, 3 months in a Protestant church. They were playing funky music, and there were indeed a lot of young, and even myself, I thought, I was still into music. I thought, oh, it's cool, they're playing wah wah, and Jamiroquai style, and but then, as you said, the women, men mixed, and then talking to each other after the session, and I think I thought, I don't think if this is pleasing Allah,
A lot of people don't know, but Christians worship through music. A lot of the churches worship through music, and you'll find, for example, the Protestants, some denominations, especially the churches frequented most by African Americans. You'll find more than just music. There'll be like breakdance battles, breaking in church, and thinking that we're speaking in tongues, everyone's shaking and dancing, and just, like kind of like the Blues Brothers, if you ever seen the movie The Blues Brothers, right? Pretty much something like that, right?
Jim and James Belushi.
Right. It becomes pretty much a mockery, and the Deen Show has a very good piece on this, talking about that and showing some interesting clips that people might want to look at.
Mashallah.
In a couple minutes, because we're kind of running out of time, but I want you to just tell us a bit about how you became Muslim first.
Well, it's been a long journey. I was born Christian, baptized at 2 years old. I moved into Buddhism when I was 15. Then I traveled as an international reporter all over the world, in Peru, Azerbaijan, Sierra Leone, Tanzania.
So you did a lot of articles for things like The Independent, USA Today,
The Economist,
New York Times, The Economist.
Actually, my first project was in Dubai, so I'm so happy to be back. And now, as a Muslim, mashallah.
So you used to write what kind of articles?
I was more into interviewing, reporting, and it was about economic and social issues. So, and then, I was always attracted by the Azan, because I moved to some countries, like even Cyprus, listening to the Azan. I always thought, I want to go, if this is calling me, but because of social...
So the Adhan was calling you?
Yeah. Already back in the days, it's like my soul was telling me, hey, it's time to go. But my brain was like, it's kind of weirdo. But
it's amazing because the Adhan actually says Hayy ala salah. Hayy, like come, it's calling.
It's and one day I was in Abu Dhabi between 2 flights, like 6 hours. So I thought, I should rather staying in the airport. I will go and visit Abu Dhabi. And I was I took a taxi, and he was playing the Quran. And I asked him, what is this? And he said, this is the Quran. And I said to him, this is moving my heart. But I didn't know really what it was all about. I just knew it was the book of the Muslims. But And he stopped the car. He said, "Brother, you have to become Muslim. You are a good man. I can feel it. Save yourself and your family from the hellfire."
Allahu Akbar.
So I was like, "Whoa, take it easy,
But let me just say something here, because I mean, that's really amazing what the brother did. A lot of people are hesitant sometimes to tell people, hey, when they see a dawah opportunity, this is the opportunity, perfect.
Definitely.
Someone saying, hey, I'm feeling moved by the Quran, right?
Yeah.
And a Muslim, you find a lot of Muslims like, okay, mashallah, like people don't take advantage of these dawah opportunities. So mashallah, may Allah bless that brother. SubhanAllah.
Actually, we have a lot of dawah opportunities that sometimes we don't take. And just like 2 days ago, there's a French brother, very strong Catholic. We were having a dinner, and we've been introduced, and we spent time talking about the genes, and he was very receptive, And I think sometimes you have to feel when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends you someone, sometimes there is no coincidence, as we know with qadar, no? Destiny.
Yeah,
and I think this man definitely, that was planned already, and this has really helped me to, when I looked at his back photo, that was a sign that Allah guided me, He guided me all the way, and I think also the fact that I was a musician really helped me to become Muslim, because I saw the darkness in the music first. Through that, I don't know if you're aware about the industry now with all these big artists like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and all this. This is very different ballgame than before. So it's now become more and more clear for who they are working, what type of music they are doing, and it's pretty much brainwashing the youth towards worshipping satanic stuff,
Yes.
So when I discovered that Lady Gaga was on her way to the Philippines, and I was like, wow, this is huge. I never realized that her videos were like so extreme, and there's something very dark about it. And unfortunately, in the Philippines, they allowed it. Even though in the Philippines, if you blaspheme about God, it's 7 years of jail.
Yeah, because a very strong Catholic.
She literally blasphemed about. I mean, she has a song about Judah, making fun of Jesus and all this thing, and second degree, as we say in French, second degré, Yeah. But definitely it is. But in Indonesia, which a Muslim country, they ban her, So that was the first time it rang the bell, and I went deep inside the rabbit hole, and I discovered the whole music industry now is. The top guys were all about this, and I found it disgusting, and because they are brainwashing the youth, it's like little girls of 15 years old, fans of some disgusting women, and so that was the first time that I realized what's happening, and then I discovered the science and the Quran, it's all backed up, everything that is in the Quran now is proved by scientific, including atheists, So it's through music that I think first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed me the darkness, where I was now doing this type of useless thing for my day of judgment. And then he moved me to the light, which is the Quran. And after my first Ramadan, even though I invested half of my money into music, I decided to drop it because I cannot take it anymore,
So you lost a lot of money?
I don't think, Allah give me back, inshallah, in Jannah.
Inshallah. But I mean, that's an amazing sacrifice, because people are not willing to sometimes make any sacrifice whatsoever, for the sake of Allah. Like sometimes, being in da'wah, it's like sometimes you have to pull teeth out, for anyone to help or to do any sacrifice for the sake of Allah. And we are.
What's also interesting, Brother Julian, is that after you became Muslim, obviously, you went for a short period of doing, you could say, somebody may have looked on YouTube now and said, oh, the brother, he's doing an Islamic song with a sister in hijab. That was your initial stage where you didn't. No, it's important to mention, as you can. I mean, they'll see the difference now. Then you didn't have a beard, now you have a beard. So they'll obviously assume that was quite some time ago. But initially, you said, mashallah, you started praying and everything, but you still had that connection to music. But later on, for different reasons, and one of them you said was reading the book, The Music Made Me Do It. That's why. That's what's amazing. So look how SubhanAllah, Allah plans, because we had a show about The Music Made Me Do It.
Yeah, it's correct.
And then I was contacted by a brother a young brother, Abdul Mateen, who he's been one of the people on a show called iTeens, and he contacted and said, I have a brother who used to be a musician, and then I said, great. And then when I met up with the brother about a week ago before the show, obviously. I said to him, we've been doing on a book called The Music Made Me Do It. And then Brother Julian said, that's one of the big reasons that made me completely give up music. I said, Subhanallah.
I have to
Look at
tell
our
you.
plans. Not just we got an ex-musician to come on the show to talk about music. He actually, one of the big reasons he left completely music was because of the book we were talking about last week. Subhanallah.
I have to tell you about this story because I was in Singapore when I got the book. I was in Malaysia for the whole Ramadan, but one of my friends, a Dai, took me to Singapore, and I found we were doing some stuff, and I found this book. We had just like 5 minutes break, and I picked this book among all the books possible. And I started to read, and I thought, well, I was already thinking about stopping music, and I grabbed it. And when I read all these things that music, Muslim lost power in Spain, for example, you know, they get attached to the dunya. You know, they were very strong Muslim, but they start to mix with the non-believers, and then start to play the guitar in Spain. And this is how they lost Spain. And when I read this type of thing, and he has, I mean, hundreds of very good examples, it really, and as I was on the verge to launch my new single, which the name La ilaha illallah.
Yes.
The video was done, the marketing strategy was clear, it was to launch it during Ramadan, which unfortunately most of artists nowadays launch their songs in Ramadan. But before that, I read a book from Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, one of my favorite scholars. It's a book, he has 6,000 pages of Tafsir al-Quran, but he has a book about Ramadan. And he was saying, you know, the Ramadan is a fasting of all organs. Not only the tummy, you know. It's like here, and the mouth and everything. So I thought, I cannot, as a Muslim, launch my music to hurt my Muslim and brothers and sisters. You know, I cannot do that because they should not be in this state of mind. They should focus on the Quran only during Ramadan. We don't need to have a song La ilaha illallah. You know, it's so. But the song is, mashallah, is beautiful. You know, it's for me it was so hard. You know, I fight against Shaitan big time. But alhamdulillah, Allah gave me the success. I haven't released it, and because also I was very scared. Because when you have a song like La ilaha illallah, you have to mean it and you have to live it. And up until now, I cannot say I'm leaving it because this is a huge responsibility to live La ilaha illallah, you know. So, alhamdulillah.
We're actually running out of time, subhanAllah.
French people talk too much.
No problem. Sorry with the whole, you know, technical, we apologize again. But inshallah, we definitely have to have you back when you come, I think next month, inshallah.
Yeah, I'll be coming for Peace Dubai conference.
Okay, so I think we can do something, inshallah, when you come back. But
because there's a whole bunch of stuff that he hasn't mentioned. He's gonna, by then he can maybe even read some of he can give us some teasers, read some excerpts from his book. He has a documentary. He hasn't even spoken about his documentary, so don't do that now. But he has some documentaries about Muslim women and the hijab. We're very interested to talk about. He has. He's working for Mercy Mission as the.
Yeah, just I guess that's
so
why
we can go into more detail about that.
If you want to just give us a little briefing about Mercy Mission in the last minute before we end.
In 1 minute, Mercy Mission is a non-profit organization based in Kuala Lumpur with 12 offices worldwide. We are into education, social service, you know, providing schools, conferences worldwide. We also feed 100,000 children per month in 6 countries. We also help women, Muslim women, in 5 shelters around the world. And also a very interesting program that I'm very passionate about is New Muslim Care. You know, when you enter Islam, sometimes, especially in countries like Philippines, you don't have so much support. So New Muslim Care is a program to support a new Muslim in education and with a community. So mashallah, you can check Mercy Mission on you know, on our Facebook. The CEO is Tawfiq Chaudhary. Fantastic human being. I really love him. He's a great scholar, and he's going to come in Dubai in 1 month, so you have the chance to listen to his talk, inshallah.
MashaAllah. طيب, I think we are alhamdulillah done. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Got there in the end.
Yeah.
Better late than never, as they say.
Yes, alhamdulillah. So inshallah we will have you back on the show soon. Again, we apologize, alhamdulillah, and we hope that you benefited from this show. So we'll see you next time. Another program, another amazing topic. Don't forget to send your feedback on email, Facebook, whatever it might be.
And we had, mashallah, we had a lot of, I couldn't read them obviously, but we had a lot of nice comments about how great the show is and how important this show is and how interesting this show is, and some questions for Brother Julian, but inshallah, in April we can go more into those, inshallah.
So, Jazakum khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah from Gabriel Al-Romaani
and from Ismail Bullock.
Time to please Allah, a chance to gain reward. I will spend on you, he says, on all who spend in good cause. Good deeds are opportunities, sparkling bright and true, raising you in the sight of Allah and adorning Al-Jannah for you. So rush to earn his reward, don't forget the oppressed.